Never knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're an Oreo cookie. White in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro. I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I would slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. There's a trial going on that most people probably don't even know about. And it's a doctor by the name of Kermit Gosnell. And his trial is happening right now, and also down in Florida, Planned Parenthood official sanctioning infanticide, and a lot of people don't know about that as well. And this is a black abortionist doctor who is just killing babies left and right, even after they come out of the womb. Dan Gaynor is with me. He is the vice president of business and culture for the Media Research Center. And this is Brent Brozel's organization, a good friend of ours, and I really appreciate having him here. I want to talk about what is going on with this trial and why is there a total blackout by way of the liberal media. Let's see here. Dan, good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be on, especially about something so important.
I'm telling you, man. Did you know anything about Margaret Thatcher? Are you?
Yes, I remember. I remember the Prime Minister very well from her days in office, and because of her. What's funny, last night I was watching just a little of the biopic movie of her. I was watching the Falklands section of that movie,
right?
Iron Lady. It was on cable last night, and I remember the Falklands War very well. It was an amazing triumph of Britain and democracy against people who think they can steal territory, much like Saddam Hussein tried years later.
Amazing, huh? Well, she was a tough lady, and she turned Great Britain around. It was when she took over, it was a socialist society, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's turned back now a lot, and and I mean, we can, as we often do, we look toward Europe and see what our future might be, and that's definitely the future that we're looking at right now.
I know, it's amazing, man.
And part of that, I think, very beginning of such things begins with respect for life, and we don't have it in this culture. Particularly, the media don't have it, and that affects the whole of everything they report, especially this Gosnell case.
Yeah, tell the folks about who this abortion doctor is, and why do you think that the media is not reporting his trial at all?
Well, Kermit Gosnell was arrested in 2011 for the death of one woman who came to his abortion clinic to get an abortion, and for the post-abortion, post-birth murder of 7 babies that were born.
Yeah.
But watching the coverage of this trial in the local press, the Philadelphia press has done an excellent job, while the national press has completely abandoned their responsibility. But watching the local press in this trial, the allegations are just, they're out of some horror movie. I mean, you could watch the movie Saw, and it's less disturbing. One of the people who work with him, and several people in that office were charged with crimes. One of the people was convicted of third-degree murder, came and testified just last week and said that he hadn't seen 7 babies killed. The number was more like 100.
Wow.
And what the doctor is alleged to have done, because we do have you're innocent until proven guilty, but what he's alleged to have done is to have snipped the baby's spine at the base of the neck, basically effectively decapitating them after they're born. Now,
amazing.
I mean, when you see whether it's the Arias trial or the any of these mothers alleged to kill their children or something like that. And certainly we've seen it with Newtown, and for good reason. At least it's an impossibly horrible thing to contemplate, the death of 20 children.
Yeah.
So here's somebody who's charged with killing a mother and 7 children, but already the trial testimony indicates the number could have been close to 100, and yet they don't cover it for the simple fact that journalists are overwhelmingly close to 100% in support of abortion. And anything that makes abortion look bad, whether it's this or when the Komen Foundation for the Cure decided to defund Planned Parenthood or whatever, anything that affects their side, they defend. And anything, whether it's the Gosnell case or this awful case in Florida, they choose to either spin or not report. And the case in Florida, because you alluded to it at the very beginning
right.
of it, people didn't see this testimony. This is nightmarish. You've got the lead lobbyist for the Planned Parenthood of Florida, which is several different local chapters of Planned Parenthood, testifying in front of the legislature, and when asked about what would happen, if an abortion fails and a birth results, okay, so a child is born.
Yeah.
Her response was that she feels that decision should be left up to the mother, the family, and the doctor. In other words, it's not a citizen. It's not a life. It's simply, it's a failed medical procedure, and we can still kill it off. That's the same kind of immoral, frankly, illegal view that people like Peter Singer, the alleged ethicist from Harvard, have. Singer thinks you should be able to kill babies up to a year after their birth.
Really?
Yeah. This is left-wing morality.
But this is also how evil operates. Once you allow evil to have its way, there is no end to its destructions. We need to remind the people that this is going beyond just abortion. This is after the kids are born, that they're still willing to kill the babies.
You put it really well. This is evil. And I mean, we're not in our media-drenched propaganda culture. We're no longer supposed to use terms like that.
Yeah.
But if you think back to where the left was simply when Bill Clinton was president. Now remember, this hasn't been that long ago. I mean, it was a little bit more than a decade ago that Bill Clinton was advocating, and this is a paraphrase, but for abortion being safe, available, and rare. Now, we know it's certainly not safe, and we know it's certainly available. But to give you a hint of how unrare it is, when we hit the 40th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, we also hit a awful and just catastrophic landmark of more than 50 million children been killed through abortion.
Now, Dan, hold that thought. Let me take a quick break. We'll come back and pick up on this. 888-775-3773. 888-77-JESSE. Okay, welcome back. My guest is Dan Gaynor, Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center. And I advise you folks to get involved. Check them out. And if it wasn't for the Media Research Center, we wouldn't know what's going on, believe me. We're talking about a trial that is happening right now in Philadelphia of a guy by the name of Kermit Gosnell. Gosnell. He is an abortionist doctor who allegedly killed or murdered at least, well, here's the deal. He's charged with 7 counts of murder for killing newborn babies. This is after the babies are born, he would kill them. And now he's on trial. ABC, NBC, CBS, and others are not reporting this trial at all. And I believe, Dan, this trial has been going on for at least 3 weeks. Is that true?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I mean, the revelations are heinous. And I mean, here's an important point. I mean, the media are always quick to defend minorities under most circumstances. Well, this is a doctor who served a poor community. So these, the children that are at risk here, the families they had to deal with are minority families, and frankly, the overwhelming story of abortion in this country is a story of mostly minority murder.
According to blackgenocide.com, over 1,800 black babies are aborted every day. Every day, over 1,800 black babies alone. You mentioned just before the break that there has been, at least 50 million abortion in this country already?
Yeah. And
since Roe versus Wade?
That number is, is to put in perspective for people, it is equal to every living citizen in the Northeast United States, from Maine through Connecticut and New Hampshire and down through New York, down to New Jersey, down into Pennsylvania. That entire region, if you were to kill every single man, woman, and child in that region, that's equal to what we've killed off with abortion in this country.
Wow. Why do you think there isn't an total outcry from most of Americans? Look like, I think if Americans stood up against this, we can end this.
Well, I mean, part of the problem is our media culture, one of the big problems, where we're taught that, it's the rights of the woman. Half of those babies are killed are young women that we're killing off. What about their rights? What about the rights of those young men that were being killed off? It is, the result of the narcissistic culture that we live in, where, your rights are somehow more paramount than the children that you're, that are our future.
But,
I was talking to an artist just, the week before last, and he said he thought that, maybe a lot of the things that are problems in our society, cancer, or just the fact that we all can't get along, he said he thought that maybe God had sent us people to help us with those things, and that maybe we've killed them off with abortion.
That's possible, absolutely. But what happened to common sense? Why is it that the people can allow the media to convince them that a wrong is a right? I mean, common sense says that abortion is wrong unless, in my opinion, unless the mother's life is truly at risk. Not that they're making that up, just to have an abortion. But where's the common sense of America? We know right from wrong.
Well, we do, but we don't. I mean, we've been told down is up and right is left so long by not just the news media, but really what affects things is the entertainment media. We saw it, and I mean, that show you the culture of media when with gay marriage so much in the news. There are a lot of people in the media, even NBC, talking about the influence of popular culture. Well, the same thing goes for abortion.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, the media are perfectly willing to say that they are responsible for changing America's view on gay marriage. But they're not willing to admit that they hold a responsibility for the culture of death in our country, where we have not one now, but two shows that are entirely devoted to serial killers. And I mean, not as like, let's hunt them down, but where they're the stars, Dexter and now Hannibal.
Amazing. I also noticed, Dan, that the so-called black leadership haven't spoken out against this abortion so-called doctor there in Philadelphia. I haven't heard anything from them about what happened there.
Well, I think you find the left is better about this than the right, where they might as well be wearing jerseys. I'm on this team. You're on that team, and so anything that might support my team, they'll do anything that goes against it. So the left, which is gone from being that safe, available, and rare view of abortion to now being abortion should be available up to the moment of birth paid for by taxpayers, and now clearly they're even backing off the moment of birth and wanting to expand it into after a child is born if they don't want it.
That's amazing. That is just amazing to me. I don't know how a person can allow that. Even a mother, I don't know how she would allow her child to be killed after he or she is born.
Well, I mean, because they're told it's not, if you're told a baby is something, like a fetus, which of course a fetus sounds very scientific, and it doesn't. Oh, it's not really a life; it's just a fetus, and that's what they're told. And I mean, here, we're at the 70th anniversary of the Holocaust, and it's being marked today, and we call an event that killed just this horrific scientific murder of people that killed 6 million Jews and 20 million people overall. We call it rightly a Holocaust. But then what do we call something that scientifically using doctors who are supposed to do no harm, what do we call something that has killed 50 million people just in this country? It kills 115,000 people a day around the world.
Wow, amazing. I read that Romania banned abortion about a year ago or so because their population was shrinking, causing massive poverty. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't realize that, but that's good. In this country, the media who don't report on, ABC, CBS, and NBC don't report on Gosnell or what happened in Florida are quick to point out that states like North Dakota or Arkansas or Kansas might be actually making what they call extreme abortion laws. North Dakota and Arkansas, I think North Dakota's law is if you can hear a fetal heartbeat, which in any other time in our society, hearing a heartbeat is definition of life.
Yes. A battle between good and evil, Dan, right versus wrong. Tell the people how to get to your website and what we can do to help you.
Well, you can find us at mrc.org or newsbusters.org. What you do to help is get involved.
Yeah.
If you see, we have a lot of calls to action, so you can go to our site and sign up for our emails or, be part of our team that reaches out to the networks and tells them when they're doing wrong. And this is one of the big times.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. We'll have you back. I want to keep up with this trial.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right,
God
buddy.
bless.
Okay, you too. Back in a moment.